Hey guys, Allison here. This was the last 2 pages you saw me put together, and we need to talk a little bit about reality. So I went to go and make the next page. I flipped over the page and discovered this photo, which I thought I had in here and I, couldn't find. And so I had gone back and added some journaling because my eldest daughter was sick and I wanted to have that in my album. And so I had added the journaling onto this blue square after I had stopped filming. And then, flipped over the page to start day 16 to discover 2 more photos from the 15th. Gack! So I'm going to start this process by actually rejigging things a little bit. So forgive me for that. But yeah, this happens. Okay, so that's where we're at. This is day 15, and then I'm going to talk about day 16 when we got the tree, decorated the tree, all that good stuff. Here we go. So before I can get started on the back side, the forgotten photos, if you want to call it that, I need to rejig these 2x2 squares. So you can just see that green tree. Originally I had it in the lower 2 squares on that page, and decided that I would move it up and put that blue square that I had originally made in, and then one other square where that tree had been. So I need to find a piece of paper to go into where that blue square was, and I go digging through the papers in the kit and discover this one that has all these multicolored stripes on it, and I just cut a 2-inch strip of the stripe and then cut out a 2-inch block of the blue, and now I'm just adding some decoration on it. So I added a puffy sticker and I grabbed some stamps from the kit and lined them all up. And then I thought, let's just try, make sure my ink is juicy. That was my excuse. And I discovered that I actually had the tree stamp upside down. So top tip, make sure your stamps are facing the right way up, because otherwise I would have stamped a big tree blob instead of a nice crisp tree. Yeah, I am just smart that way. So now I can start working on decorating these forgotten photos. So I have got a 4x4 square of that tealy blue, or tealy green and blue triangular shaped paper. Kind of looks like Christmas trees. And the reason I'm pulling in that teal color is because of the number 16. And it's got that dark teal background. And then the one below, it's one of the 4x6 cards. It's like the newsprint card, and I just trimmed 2 inches off it. I wasn't really concerned about what's on it. I knew that most of it was going to be covered, and all I would see is that little strip down the left-hand side, and that's fine. I'm totally cool with that. And then I added that green strip down the left of that angel photo. It actually says it's from another cut apart, or sorry, from another 3x4 card that I cut apart, and it says holiday favorite tradition. So I just talk about that particular angel and how I love my big angels. I have 2, but one broke. Anyway, so now I'm just decorating the large photo and matching what I put on the large photo to that smaller photo of my daughter. It's not a great photo of my daughter. She's, laying on the couch feeling miserable and actually has her hand over her face because she doesn't want me to take her picture. But it does need a little bit of dressing up. So I add a strip of green cardstock and then another strip of that wood grain and red striped paper from Chamel's Glitter Girl collection, and a gray label. And that's kind of all it needs. It's got a little bit of journaling on it, and then I do add some decoration afterwards. So now I'm just looking to see what else I can find to put on these, and I do end up putting a couple of word strips, one here and then one on the tree photo. and add a puffy sticker. There was a puffy sticker on that little blue square that I moved, so I decided to add one more onto the card with the angel on it, one of the poinsettia ones, and then one more of those sort of candy shaped puffy stickers onto the one with the tree. And I put a paper clip on here and some jewels, and then I try and get them all into the pockets. Those blue jewels were from the same package as that strip of jewels that I put on the page before. But I realized as I was putting everything into its pockets that a couple of things. So the number 15 there was slightly bigger than the bottom of that tree image, and it was showing through, and it was really bothering me. So I trimmed it off and then ended up sticking those two squares together so they line up properly. And then as I put the photo of my daughter in up behind the photo of our little elf, I realized that I had put the paper clips in basically the exact same position on both, so it was really bulky, plus that gem was really big and bulky, so there was a lot of bulk in that one spot. So I moved the paper clip, replaced the gem with a smaller one, and it worked much better. So now we're on to the next two large photos, and I really wanted them to stand alone, so I didn't add a ton of decoration to them. I grabbed my gold glittery stickers and put a title on one of the photos, and I also used a couple of the hyphen shapes as decoration. I put a little gray journaling label on the bottom of that one that says star with a gold hyphen, and then wrote my journaling on to the other photo and put a gold hyphen underneath it, and that was really all it needed. Sometimes when you have large pictures like this, it really doesn't pay to have them covered up, basically. So I just kept it simple. Writing on a photo, and I don't have a slick writer. I probably should invest in one. These are just my, I think they're by Sakura. They're just my regular journaling pens. So it's a little bit, I have to be a little bit careful because the pen will smudge if the ink is wet. So I took my time and I wrote slowly and carefully. I didn't want to make any mistakes or anything like that. And then I gave it a little bit of time to dry before I stuck it in the pocket. And now we can work on the back of that photo. And this is the last spread for that day. So just move my album out of the way to give myself more space. And I chose a red striped paper as my background, and I'm going to build on top of that. And I also got out a 4x6 like flip pocket, so it's got a sticky strip on it, and you literally attach it onto your other page protector, and then you can flip the photo back and forth. So I've got a few different photos that I'm trying to figure out how to arrange, and I'm also trying to figure out what to put on the back, because I've in that 4x6 pocket I've got one 4x6 photo, and then I have a little 3x4 photo, so I'm just trying to figure out how to arrange that. Oh, sorry, it's not a 3x4, it's a little square one. That photo of the stocking I eventually decide isn't going to work in this particular instance, so I get rid of it. And that little journaling card, it says holiday memory, and I love the way it's like the perfect size. It fits in there, and it's got this white frame around it, and I love it. I love how that photo and that memory are now documented in a way in my album that they really stand out and they're really highlighted. So now I'm just trying to figure out this other page, and I cut my other 3x4 photo down to a square. It's basically a 3-inch square. And I decide to back it with vellum, just to give it a little bit of prominence, I suppose. And then I decide to back that 3x4 card with vellum too. The first sheet of vellum I used, the pattern on the vellum was oriented the wrong way, so I grabbed a different scrap. And that's what you see there now. So now I'm just trying to figure out how I can compose the photos here. And I want this photo of my daughter and her friend to stand out, so I decide to frame it with some red cardstock so it pops up against the background. And I've cut apart that 4x6 journaling card because I want that in the gold square, or the gold rectangle, sorry, it says remember this moment, and I want that to be prominent. And I know that I can use the white space around for my journaling. So now I'm just trying to figure out how to decorate the rest of the page. And because it's at a basketball game, and because our little elf on the shelf is holding a soccer ball, I figure I can use some circular elements. So I try the remainder of the circles that I cut out for the previous page, and they weren't really working very well. And then I tried some paper with some circles on it, and that just wasn't working at all. So I'm like, well, I've already got vellum. Let's get some more vellum and punch some circles out of it. But my punches were not working, and they ended up chewing up the vellum horribly. So plan C, as you will, is my trusty circle dies. So I'm just cutting out some vellum circles, and then I can put them down on the paper. And I really like how this looks. Actually, it's subtle, but it gives a lot of movement, and I think that is appropriate for the photo. So now I'm just adhering those vellum circles, and I'm trying to hide the adhesive, which is easy enough to do behind the photo there. And then I go to stick down the photo of Susie, and I realize I've got vellum on top of vellum, and it's just too much. So I take it off, and I'm much happier with it the way it is without the vellum frame. Once you have these circles, she didn't need to have the vellum frame on top of it, and it was getting a bit much. So now these little vellum circles are a bit problematic for adhesive, so I get some of the larger self-adhesive sequins, stick them down on the vellum, and then put my adhesive right behind them so I can hide it. And then I will go back and add more sequins because I can't just have 2 on a page. But first I'm going to get my journaling in so I know where I have spaces. And I added the star. I realize it's just kind of a one-off star, but there is a reason for that. My daughter's friend is holding the player of the game shirt, and so she's a star. And my daughter got that shirt the week before, so it worked. It was good. Okay, so now I'm just finishing off a little flip pocket, writing in my journaling. So this ornament, every year we choose an ornament, we buy an ornament that is either from one of our trips or it represents a special event that happened in our family in that year. So this was our ornament for 2017. And so I'm just writing about the story behind it. And then on the back or front, or however you want to think of that, is a photo of the box that we keep all our special ornaments in. So I'm going to add one more thing. I'm going to add a little gray label, and I'm going to basically write on it, flip this over to see what the ornament is from this year. Simple, simple. And that is pretty much it. Okay, so that is day 16 done and then 15 finished. So just take you back. I changed out this card here, moved the one that I had originally created to this side so that the journaling would relate to this photo, and then added my 16 here. And then I've got several large photos, kind of did this on purpose, of the blank tree, the bare tree, and then I specifically wanted one of my daughter Paige putting the star on the tree. She asked me to do it this year, and it's not, we don't have a tradition or anything like that, but she just wanted to do it, so I thought it needed a large photo. And then one of it all finished, and I just kept this really simple because I kind of want the focus to be on the photos and just a little bit of journaling, this one right on the photo itself. And then you flip this over and you have this pocket. So this is all the sort of special ornaments that we collect over the years, and you flip it and you get to see the one that we added this year, and then just a couple of other pictures from the day with some fun decoration. The one thing I realized I have not added is my gold number 16. Let's see if I can find my gold stickers. So I think I will put it on this one. Well, actually, no, I think I'm going to put it on this one, because I've got so many pages going from this day. I'll just add that there. And I'm wondering if I need a paper clip on this day too. All these little elements help bring everything together. I'm not sure where I would put a paper clip on this, so I might just leave off the paper clip this time. Okay, there you have it. All done. Now I'm up to day 16. 9 more days to go. See you again soon. Thanks for watching.